The Protectors of the Wood Adventure Series, episode number 186, Abby Listens. As Glenda waved goodbye with a smile, Abby was thinking,
listening to people really does help. My underground dream really does help me. And now, onward to my other problems. What did Phoebe say? Oh, it's hard to even think about it. My cottage was broken into, stuff all over the place. Jeremy saw the door open and cleaned up everything. And I returned home, fell asleep, and noticed nothing. Well, now I'll look more carefully.
The door was closed and her key worked. But the door scraped just a little as she pulled it open. Someone had installed a clean new metal slot to hold the door closed. It looked as if someone had pried the door open with a crowbar or a big screwdriver, and Jeremy had repaired the damage. Abby dreaded going inside. She had hardly glanced at anything the night before, and didn't know what a close examination might uncover. And she felt both humiliated and flattered by Jeremy organizing her things. Some of her clothes were dirty, and she couldn't help comparing herself to other imaginary women with expensive clothes, books from college, a nice computer.
But that's okay. I like myself the way I am. But what I don't like is wondering what that mob may have done. Stalkers may have left another bug, a device, to spy on me. But still, it was nice to see Jeremy spare me the shock of coming home to God knows what. And I see Jeremy repaired the damage. The door scrapes a little, but that's nothing. My key works and things look normal. Thank God I left my valuables with Phoebe and the Mapstick and briefcase underground. And my seeds with Tuck and Jeremy. I'm not a total fool. And look, the gardens are in wonderful shape. Lettuce and cabbage and broccoli and kale are ready for me. The amaranth is knee-high. Finger beans are blossoming.
She walked along the old apple trees and was surprised to see a few apples in new growth. And up along the front fence, the marigolds and the snapdragons were cheerful and colorful in the sun. All this after days with no rain. Just a fierce but brief hailstorm. She had strictly avoided scanning the street for stalkers or reporters, but finally glanced up at the scene. Someone was sitting on a bench in front of the Middletown Standard office. Someone she knew.
Oh my God, it can't be.
An instant shock went through her body. It was Marcus, her ex-boyfriend. She hadn't seen him in months, but his screams on the horrible night when the mob had threatened to burn the abandoned house with her and Phoebe in it, those screams echoed in her mind. Even now, she could hear them.
Stop! Stop! You might kill somebody!
And now, here was Marcus, looking casually to the side, as if he didn't see her. But Abby was sure that he had been watching her. He scratched the side of his face and for a moment placed his index finger across his lips, clearly as a sign to be silent. Abby looked away and went on with her inspection of the flowers. Her heart was pounding. She looked at things but saw nothing. Finally, she turned and walked back to the cottage and threw herself on the bed.
What's going on? This is not a random accident. What did Sule say about the new watcher? Let's see, she said, a boy my age who does errands for Scudder's Market, and something for the Middletown Standard.
Lying on the bed, her eyes closed, Abby pictured every detail of his appearance. His hair had been cut short, his clothes were no longer sloppy. He wore pressed khaki pants, a thin black leather belt, a button-down white shirt, probably with the Scudder's logo. He looked dressed for a job, but part of his job clearly included watching the courtyard. Was this all about his obsession with her? Was this a trick devised by the Morphe crew to get a stalker who had a legitimate reason to be there, but was basically a spy? Abby remembered Marcus' exact motion, finger across his lips. It was a signal, meaning, don't notice me. Don't say anything. Go along with this, as if it's normal, as if you don't see me.
Could Marcus be a sort of double agent? Maybe he wants to help us. I know he's basically a good person, but in a terrible situation. He's never been destructive or evil, just lost and sad, disoriented and confused. Another lost soul like the many from my Dreamstone vision. One more follower for my strange leadership. But what do I do now?
The voice at the back of her mind said,
Do nothing. If necessary, say hi as if it's no big deal. Tell Sule and Nico to ignore him. Don't worry about it.
Even this makes me happy. Marcus has found a road to follow. I have nothing to feel guilty about. He's not devastated.
A calm and restful feeling came over her, and she began to dream. When Abby awoke, the setting sun was shining through the small window above the sink. She had intended to work on the gardens, or at least water the plants. Her new timer said 6:30.
A bit of time until the youth council meeting at 8. A perfect time to water everything, and then I'll buy a sandwich at Sammy's and eat at the meeting.
She stepped out of the door and surveyed the churchyard. Almost immediately, she noticed the hose attached to the water faucet at the side of the church. Following it with her eyes, she saw Jeremy in the front flower garden near the metal fence.
How is he getting the hose to reach so far? And what should I do now? I really don't want to talk to him in front of Marcus, but the bench is empty. Marcus is gone.
Abby walked boldly up the lawn to where Jeremy was watering the marigolds and snapdragons. He saw her and dropped the hose.
Abby!
He came toward her, and for an awkward moment, both of them thought they would embrace, but then decided not to. Jeremy glanced back over his shoulder for anyone watching them. The street was deserted. Abby picked up the hose and stepped from plant to plant, soaking the roots.
It's faster and better this way.
Fill these 2 watering cans, and I'll start on the apple trees.
You must have bought another 60 feet of hose. I hope Tuck paid you.
Tuck has avoided me. I bought it myself, but no money, please. With my working hours these days, I'm practically rich.
Coming to the youth council meeting?
No, I wish I could, but my work has changed. We're making what Chi-Chi calls an adjustment. You see, after you disappeared, a stalker began shadowing me. He even hid in the orchards across from the gas station. Jim consulted Chi-Chi, who immediately canceled all of our arrangements in the forest and put us on full-time work in the garage. He let me keep this garden assignment, but says to assume we're watched around the clock.
Full-time in the gas station? You guys have that much business?
It's mostly bio work now. They have us converting dozens of engines to run on biogas. I even made a few home visits and converted propane furnaces and hot water heaters. I don't understand what all the rush is about, but there sure is plenty to do. I'm now a full-time biogas technician.
Wow. You know what that means, don't you?
Well, I have a guess or two, but what's your idea?
They're using the last of this warm weather to prepare Middletown for surviving the winter on the biogas. And in long term, they're looking to make Middletown an example of 100% renewable energy.
As a child, I knew on a bright summer's day, the warmth of the sun was coming my way. The heat on the sidewalk felt ever so good. I knew that I would do all that I could. The years passed by in a blink of an eye. The moon goes racing across the dark sky. All I have left is the best I can do. It'll take all we've got to carry us through. That bright summer's day, we'll live on always. The great wide world and the powers that be carry us over the raging sea. The end of the line is here on a dime. The universe lives in a moment of time. All things journey the long winding way. Everything we do matters today. That bright summer's day, we'll live on always. The great wide world and the powers that be carry us over the raging sea. That bright
Trillions of living things are everywhere around. Our lives are all planted deep into the sacred ground. There's everything to love and everything to fear. It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. And nature lives here.